All right. So, four things that you need in your plan to finish 2024 strong. And this, as I just mentioned, is a weight loss and health goal setting workshop for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. So 2024 is almost over, which is kind of scary. It went by really, really fast. And the first question I want to ask everyone is, did you make a plan at the beginning of 2024 that didn't work out the way you hoped it would? And you can put yes or no in the comments. So if this sounds like you, put a one in the comments. You started the year with a plan to lose weight, but the insane amount of diet and nutrition advice on the internet left you completely overwhelmed and you ended up paralyzed. So that sometimes happens. It happens to me as well. Like I start out with this great plan and then I start doing the research and it's just too much and I just feel completely overwhelmed and I never ever get it started. So maybe you had a plan at the beginning of the year, you stuck to it, you buckled down, you counted your calories, you took your doctor's advice, you exercise and reduce your portion sizes, but you're still the same weight you were last year at this time and you're ready to give up. So if that sounds like you, put a two in the comments. Maybe you tried to get your chronic health conditions like prediabetes, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, etc. under control. But every time you started a new diet, you ended up not getting the results you want and then sabotaging your progress and quitting. So if that sounds like you can put a three in the comments. If you ate healthy food and hit the gym almost every single day, but the last 25 pounds or 10 kilograms of your belly fat will not budge no matter what you do, and it hasn't for the entire year, put a four in the comments if that sounded like your 2024. So if you had a plan at the beginning of the year and you did not get the results that you were looking for, you're definitely not the only one. And there's always a possibility to turn it around, even this late in the game. Okay, it's 2 months before Christmas, but you can still make a solid plan and start making, even if it's just small steps towards your goal, and you can achieve some of your goals before the new year. Okay, and you're maybe asking right now, how am I supposed to make a plan when nothing works and I don't know where to start? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and I'm going to show you the things that you need to do to get this plan into place. And why should you listen to me? Who am I? My name is Trina.rys. I'm a holistic nutritionist and an expert in men's health and weight loss. I am, yes, a holistic nutritionist. I'm also a mother and a wife. I have three kids, a 19-year-old daughter, a 17-year-old son, and a 9-year-old son. And my husband's the same age as me. We're both 45. The reason why I started working specifically with men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s is this guy. This is my best friend, David. He's kind of crazy, and he's really the reason why I decided to create the program that I did called the Belly Fat Fix and change my practice to work exclusively with men over 40. This was him in his early 50s. He was having an extremely hard time losing weight, even though he was active, he was doing yoga, he was eating, quote unquote, healthy food. He could not lose the weight. So we really worked together to formulate a plan that works for men over 40 in their 50s and even in their 60s to help them, get thin, lose weight, get their energy back, and feel fantastic. Okay, so that's why I created the Belly Fat Fix, and it's really an easy program to understand. All men can understand it. David, my best friend, was very adamant that if I created this program, it needed to be simple, straightforward, and sustainable so that men could be successful. Because for him, he was, Googling all kinds of stuff and getting on the internet, and there was so much different advice. He said it just needed to be extremely simple. So that's the way I do things. My approach is extremely simple. Anyone can do it. If you can't cook, you can do it. If you don't want to cook, you can do it. If you're a fantastic chef, you can do it. If you eat out, you can do it. You can do it no matter what. So first things first, before you start making a plan, you really need to know your why. So this is the first thing that you really need to think about. So I want you to think about it now, and you're probably maybe going to have to think about it over the next little while as well, but you need to know your why. So I'm going to give you a few examples of why. One is, I'm the heaviest I've ever been and I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm worried about my health and chronic illness moving forward. I'm tired of being in a cycle of craving, giving in, and then guilt. I don't want to be exhausted all the time. I want my energy back. That's a huge why for a lot of the men I work with. They don't want to feel tired anymore. They're tired of waking up in the morning, feeling exhausted, and just having to push through their day. They just want some of their youthful energy back. So that could be your why. Your why could be, I want to be healthy and set a good example for my kids and my grandkids. Your why could be that you don't want to suffer with things like ED. You want to have good sexual performance as you age. Your why could be, I'm tired of feeling like an old man. I want to feel healthy and strong. I'm sick of the dad bod. I want to be able to see my feet. I want a good relationship with food and to stop obsessing over what to eat and what not to eat. So for a lot of people, that can be a huge why. If you've been in a cycle of yo-yo dieting for many, many years, having a good relationship with food and not having to worry about what you do and what you don't eat can be a really, really important why that you need to make this plan. Why could be also, I refuse to buy any bigger clothes. Maybe that's your why. And your why could just be, I want to look sexy and get back in the saddle and live my best life. So your why is going to be very specific to you, but you need to have a why, because when, motivation wanes, which it will, at the beginning, you're always motivated to start this new plan, to lose the weight, to get your health back. But when that motivation starts to taper off, you really need to go back to why you're doing it to push yourself forward. Okay. And then you just need to have a dream. So what's your dream? And that's very specific to you. Maybe you want to take your shirt off and strut down the beach and to turn heads. That can be your dream. Whatever your dream is, that's also really important. So you have to be able to see yourself, and you need to be able to see yourself in this place in the future. Okay. So make sure you know what your why is and have a dream that you get to work towards. Okay, so the 4 things you need in your plan to finish 2024 strong. Number 1 is you need a goal. Number 2 is you need an actionable plan. Number 3 is you need to monitor progress and adjust as you go. Number 4 is you need to stay accountable and motivated. Okay. And another way of saying that is you need discipline. So let's start with the first one. You need a goal, and you need a SMART goal. So what is a SMART goal? The goal that you make needs to be specific, it needs to be measurable, it needs to be attainable, and it needs to be relevant. And relevant means it needs to be attached to your why. And it also needs to be time bound. So examples of SMART goals could be, I want to lose 20 pounds by January 1st, 2025. One is, I want my cravings to be under control by January 1st, 2025. And you can see they're very specific and they have an end date. You need to have an end date to your goal. You need it to be time bound, because if you're just like, well, I want to lose 20 pounds. Well, if you leave it open-ended, then that could mean, 10 months from now, and maybe you did make that goal at the beginning of January 2024 and you didn't give it any time constraints, and now here we are almost at the end of 2024 and maybe you haven't lost that 20 pounds. Okay. Or maybe you haven't dealt with your cravings. Or, another SMART goal could be, I want my energy levels to be higher by the end of 2024. Or when I get my blood work done in 3 months, I want it to have improved. So you can see that it's time bound. There is a limit. Okay. The next thing is they need to be specific. Your goal needs to be very specific. So ask yourself, what exactly do I want to achieve? Who's involved or responsible? With weight loss and health goals, usually, you're the main person who's involved or responsible for that goal, but that could also mean your spouse, your partner, whoever you live with. Where will it take place? So, will it take place at home? Are you going to be exercising? Where are the places that this goal is going to be? Where is it going to happen? And 4 is, why is this goal important to you? Okay, the next thing is it has to be measurable. So how will you track your progress? If you're trying to lose weight, tracking your progress could just mean getting on the scale. Okay. And you can track your progress that way. You can see the numbers going down. But sometimes with my clients, we talk about the other metrics involved in losing weight. So if you're losing weight from a place of balance and in a holistic way, you're going to have a lot of other indicators that things are going well. So you can measure that you're progressing by maybe that you're sleeping better or that your cravings are under control or that your aches and pains are better, not just the number on the scale. So what are the key performance indicators? Well, I just mentioned them, right? You're sleeping better, your cravings aren't as bad, you're not hungry all the time, your energy is stable throughout the day. All of those things are indicators that things are moving in the right direction, even if the number on the scale doesn't go down. Number three is how will you know when the goal is accomplished? So you need to think about that. How are you going to measure that? If your goal was just that your cravings are under control, how are you going to know when you've accomplished it? Well, you'll know when it's accomplished when you know you're not reaching your hand into a bag of chips at the end of the day, every single day. Okay. The goal also has to be achievable. All right. And you have to ask yourself these questions. Number one is the goal realistic given your resources and constraints? So do you have the ability to achieve that goal? If your goal is to, for example, lower your cholesterol and get off your cholesterol medication by May 2025, do you have the resources to do that? Are there any things that are going to stand in your way? Sorry, I have a bit of a cold. What steps or actions will you take to reach the goal? So what are the things that you have to do to get to this goal? Number three is, do you have the necessary skills and support? So do you have the necessary education? Do you have the necessary skills? If you have to prepare food, the things that you need to eat, the exercise, and then do you have support? So do you have a partner who is supportive of this endeavor that you're going to take? Do you have a coach? Do you have a friend or a support group? Do you just have all of the things that you need? So are you going to be able to achieve it? You need to think about the things that are going to stand in your way and then work through those things. Make workarounds for everything. And the goal needs to be relevant. So does the goal align with your life goals? Will it contribute to your long-term success and growth? Is now the right time to pursue this goal? And then the last one, when you're making a SMART goal, is that it has to be time bound. So when are you going to start working on the goal? So if you do this goal setting workshop with me today, and you actually write everything down on that worksheet, and you decide, okay, that's it. I'm going to do this thing. When are you starting? Like, are you starting next Monday? Are you starting after Christmas? What is the start date? And then what is the target completion date? When are you going to finish it? Sorry, excuse me, are there any milestones or checkpoints along the way? And there definitely need to be, okay? It's really hard to just set a goal and then not have checkpoints along the way. So some tips to achieve your goals would be to share your goals. Research shows that when you share goals or you write them down, they become more concrete. So saying your goals out loud makes it more likely that you're going to commit to them. Forming a daily routine. So implementing daily habits into your routine that will help you achieve your goals are really important. Finding support. So whether you get support from a coach like me, or an expert, or friends, family, or acquaintances, it doesn't really matter, but support can really help you stay focused and persistent. So surround yourself with people who believe in you and who believe in your goals, and adjust what doesn't work. So be adaptable and willing to change your approach if what you're doing is not working. Right? If you've been dieting and not getting any results, it may be time to stop doing that. Or if get on a diet and you're sticking with it and it's just, you're not feeling good, you're not losing the weight, you really need to be adaptable and willing to change your approach if it doesn't work. Okay. And then take small steps. So breaking your goals up into small steps can make them feel less overwhelming. So the second thing you need to develop, or sorry, the second thing that you need in your plan is that you need to develop an actionable plan. So you have this plan, this bigger plan, but it needs to be actionable. Okay, so things you need to think about when you're starting to make this actionable plan, this plan that you can actually implement into your life, is education. So do your research. You need to find a strategy that works, a strategy that fits into your life, and a strategy that meets you where you are today. Okay, so if you just had knee surgery, or if you have 100 pounds or 150 pounds to lose, or if you're not able to do exercise, you need to find strategies that meet you where you are today. So if the strategy that you find doesn't meet you where you are today and it's not manageable for you, it's going to be really hard to stick to it. So do your research. If you're about to start a diet that looks a lot like one you've done before and that hasn't worked, or maybe you've lost weight and gained it back, or you've not been able to stick with it, you need to ask yourself, what is going to be different this time? Okay. So your plan really needs to include this ability for you to stop. Okay. Stop doing strategies that don't work. Stop doing strategies that haven't worked in the past. Really do your research and find something that's going to work for you this time. Something that is built for an older man, first of all, and that will fit into your own life. And another thing to think about is really health first. I always say this, but you need to make sure that whatever strategy, plan, diet, or program you choose puts your health first. And really, I would prefer that you don't do any diets, actually. You need to really let go of the diet mentality and focus on sustainability. So many people fail on diets because they're not sustainable, and diet mentality is very all or nothing. Like, if you fall off the wagon, so to speak, it's all over. And so you need to get rid of that mentality, because that's just not life. In life, you are going to, have weeks where maybe you don't eat as well as you should, or maybe you don't exercise, and you need to be able to get back on track even if you have those weeks. So one more thing, optimal nutrition. Figure out what optimal nutrition is for you. So figure out what that looks like. If you need help with that, please book a call with me. It's like, I'll book a free Zoom call with me. I'll at least give you, although I can't for free give you anything super specific, I can give you a list of strategies and a list of questions to ask yourself, and things that you need to figure out, like what is your BMR, all kinds of things that you actually need to make sure that you are working towards optimal nutrition. So if you need help figuring that out, please contact me. I'm happy to help you with that. Consistency. So staying consistent really is the most important thing. The next thing in developing an actionable plan is really going through these steps. So define what your goals are, break them down, develop the routine, track your progress, evaluate and adjust, prioritize your mental wellness. So if whatever plan you have is extremely stressful for you in your life, that's not prioritizing your mental wellness. You need to do something that's not going to cause you more stress. And then you need to build support. So basically, the program that I offer, the Belly Fat Fix, is an actionable plan. That is what I do. I give you this plan, it's already made, and you use it to get results. Okay. So you need to define your goals. You need to make a SMART goal. It needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So for example, I want to lose 10 pounds by the end of 2024 by walking every day and giving my body optimal nutrition. So that's very specific. It's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant, and it's time bound. So this is achievable. You don't want to say today, 2 months before the end of 2024, I'm going to lose 70 pounds. That's not achievable. Okay, that's not healthy weight loss. So whatever goal you choose has to be achievable. All right, then break down the goal. So break the goal down into smaller, manageable tasks. So for example, do exercise every day for 30 minutes, and make sure daily food intake is providing adequate nutrition. Then you need to develop a routine. So you need to create a daily or weekly schedule that includes exercise and meal planning so that you can do those two things, okay? So that you can achieve this goal. So decide on specific activities like walking and when you're going to do it. I'm going to go for a walk every morning before I leave the house for work for 30 minutes. You need to make it that specific sometimes so that you actually do it. It needs to be fit into your day. And then prep meals in advance to avoid getting off track. So that could be, your routine could be I go out on a Sunday, I do my groceries, I do my meal prep, I get everything ready, I decide what I'm going to eat. So you have this routine in place, and then you need to track your progress. So you can track exercise using an app on your phone or a smartwatch. It'll tell you how much you did every single day. Nutrition, you can track daily food intake to make sure you're getting what you need. You can write stuff down in a journal, you can write it on your phone, you can get apps that track what you're eating, or you can just make a mental note. And then you need to evaluate and adjust. It's part of an actionable plan. So every week or two, you need to review your progress and adjust your plan if necessary. And this is something that I do with my clients all the time inside of my program, the Belly Fat Fix. Every single week, everybody fills out a form. It's a weekly check-in so that I can review their progress. I can review where they're at. I know how their cravings were. I know how their stress was, their sleep, and whether they lost weight or whether they didn't lose weight, so that we can adjust. So if someone hasn't lost weight, for example, for 2 weeks, then I need to do a deeper dive into what they're eating. They maybe need to fill out a meal plan for me, and I need to figure out why they haven't lost weight, and then we adjust as necessary. So if you're doing this on your own, you're following your plan, and you check every week, you're checking your weight. Maybe 3 weeks goes by, your weight doesn't go anywhere, you're not getting any benefit from what you're doing. You really need to then try and modify your nutrition or change your exercise routine, but change something. Okay, like there's not a whole lot of sense in hitting your head against the wall and doing the exact same thing if you're not getting any results. So for me, with my clients, I keep very close track of what they're doing. We are evaluating and adjusting all the time. It's extremely important to do that because, not everybody is the same, and weight loss is not a linear process. People are going to have different experiences. Some people won't start losing weight for 3 weeks at all. Some people will lose 5 pounds in the first 10 days. It really depends on the person. It depends on the things that are going on in your life. So if you don't have an expert to help you evaluate and adjust, you need to do that on your own. But you definitely need to make it part of your plan to do this. It's really important. Sit down with yourself every week or two and really review your progress. Okay, I cannot emphasize that enough. It's extremely important. So part of it is prioritize mental health. That was part of the actionable plan. If your plan is extremely stressful, you will likely abandon it and go back to your old habits. So if you make a plan to work out at the gym, and say you weren't working out at all before this, but you make yourself a plan to work out at the gym for an hour and a half every single day, to change your nutrition, to sleep better, to reduce your stress, and maybe start doing yoga. Like that's your big plan. You're going to do all of that stuff. Like that's really stressful. Okay. So if you have this plan that is going to overwhelm you, it's going to be stressful, and you're probably not going to follow through. So you do not want it to be stressful. Eating should not be stressful. Losing weight and taking control of your health should not be stressful. Okay. If you are doing it right, you should start feeling better right away. Yes, it's work. I cannot deny that it is not work. It is work, but it should not be stressful work. Okay, so prioritize your mental health by making sure that whatever approach you use is not adding extra stress into your life. All right, it shouldn't be stressful. It doesn't have to be stressful. It's not stressful for my clients. It's not stressful for the guys in the program. It is very step by step, and it meets them. I meet people where they are, and you need to meet yourself where you are as well. Okay. You don't want to heap on a whole bunch of extra stress. And then build support by surrounding yourself with supportive people, finding a coach, finding an accountability partner, or maybe a friend, and finding a community that will encourage you to stay on track can be really important as well. So the third thing that you need to have in your plan, and we talked about this just a little bit right now, but you need to monitor progress and you need to adjust accordingly, because you're here right now, or maybe you're here, or maybe you're around here, and you want to get to this guy on the right. Okay, that's where you want to be, and there's going to be a lot of adjustment that needs to happen along the way. And that's just reality. So you need to assess progress weekly would be my recommendation. That's what I do with my clients. That's what I do with guys in the Belly Fat Fix. We assess progress every single week. We don't leave things up to chance. And neither should you. Okay, so every single week when you check in with yourself, you should restate your goals and you should adjust expectations if necessary. So pick a good day, whatever that day is for you. Maybe it's a Monday for you. I do that with my clients on a Sunday, but you should restate your goals weekly and adjust expectations if necessary. And one of the reasons why maybe you might have to adjust expectations is maybe you have family visiting for a week, or maybe you're going away on vacation for a week. You're going to have a different goal when you're on vacation than you will if you're at home. And maybe that's not going to be losing weight. Maybe that's just going to be, let's maintain weight or only gain 1 or 2 pounds while you're away on vacation. So you need to adjust expectations because life happens. So another example would be if you just suffered a knee injury, which one of my clients just did, and you're couch bound and you can't really move around, your goal might change from losing 2 pounds or 1 kilogram a week to just maintaining your weight. So for example, this client who just hurt his knee, he was losing weight steadily for the first 6 weeks that we worked together, and then he injured his knee and he couldn't move around anymore. So we readjusted. The new goal was for him just to maintain his weight until he was better in a month. And we also had to readjust what he was eating, because if you're sitting on a couch, you don't need to eat as much as if you're working an active job and then working out. So just make sure you're looking at all the things that are happening in your life and readjusting as you go. Okay. If your goal is to have more energy by January 1st, you really should be doing a weekly check-in with yourself to see if your energy levels are actually getting better. And only you know that. So you're going to know how you feel, but you could just write it down, in a notebook every morning. Do you feel like you have more energy, or do you have energy, or are you completely exhausted? But check in with yourself, assess your progress. If your goal is to lose 20 pounds by January 1st, which is completely possible if you really buckle down, still possible to lose 20 pounds before the end of the year. Get on the scale once a week. Make sure you know what's happening with your weight so that if your weight stops moving, you can readjust what you're eating, you can readjust your activity level, and understand that it's not about eating less. Most of the time when I'm working with my clients, especially at the beginning, we are increasing the amount of food that they eat because they're not eating enough. Okay. Number 4, and the last thing that you need in your plan, one of the most important things, is that you need to stay accountable and disciplined. So if you can stay accountable to yourself, that's great. Not a lot of people can. So part of the reason why I created this program, which is 16 weeks long, is because people need accountability. And it's not just about meeting with me every 3 weeks or once a month and staying accountable that way. It's that most people need to have weekly accountability at least, and sometimes even daily accountability at the beginning. So one of the most important benefits of the Belly Fat Fix coaching program is accountability. And I make sure that I'm available during working hours every single day for my clients to lean on me if they need me, so that I can check in with them and I can make sure that they stay accountable. Because the reality is that it's extremely difficult. It's not difficult, it's simple, but it's a lot of work to change your eating habits, to finally, make the decision to take control of your health. And when you're just starting, you don't really know what you're doing and you need a lot of help. So that's what I do for my clients inside my program. And the 10 components of an accountability plan, if you're going to do it on your own, these are the things that you need to have. Okay. These are the things that are going to keep you accountable to yourself. If you don't have a coach, or an expert or a friend or an accountability partner to help you stay accountable, these are the things that you need to sit down and do for yourself. Okay. Number 1 is you have to have clear goals. Number 2 is you need defined metrics for success. So what does success look like for you, right? If it's you want to reduce your cravings by the end of the year, what are the defined metrics for success that you're going to have? Is that, that you don't snack at night 5 out of 7 days of the week? Is that success for you? So what is success? You need to write down what success is so that you can stay accountable to yourself. Okay. The third one is daily and weekly action steps. So inside the program, we do this weekly. There's an online content hub and an online course, and there are weekly action steps. So that every day in 1 week, these are the action steps you need to take. But if you're doing it yourself, you should also write that down. So you could do it once a week. What are the action steps you're going to do this week? Maybe the first thing you want to do is drink more water. So what are the action steps that are going to get you to that goal? If your goal is to drink, the recommended amount of water, which is 3.5 liters every single day, what are the steps that are going to get you there? Okay, so write them down. Maybe you need to fill up your water bottle and put it beside your bed, and drink it first thing in the morning. Maybe you need to drink every time you go for a pee. I don't know, but you need to write down the action steps. It's really, really important so that you know what you have to do. The fourth one is tracking and monitoring progress. This is now like the third or fourth time I brought this up. Again, can't emphasize enough how important that is. I do that with my clients, like I said, every single week. We need to monitor progress. We need to track what's going on so that we can make adjustments when necessary. Okay, so if you're keeping yourself accountable, track and monitor your progress, because if you know what's happening, you can change things if they're not going the way you want them to. Number 5 is having an accountability partner or group. So this group that you're in, Thriving Metabolism for Men Over 40, is a pretty decent place to get accountability. You maybe can even find an accountability partner in here. If you're not interested in joining the program, or you don't want me to keep you accountable, then you could maybe find a friend inside this group that you guys could keep each other accountable. But like I said, this group is not a horrible place. Everybody's here to support. I'm here to support. I'm here to support. Definitely the Belly Fat Fix coaching program is a great place to get accountability. All the guys in it support each other, and I support everybody as well. So 6 is regular check-ins. If you don't have someone to check in with you, check in with yourself. Okay. And just make it a day, whatever day of the week works for you. You're just like, Sunday at 6 p.m., I'm checking in with myself. Sit down, go over the things that you've written down, the weekly action steps, the defined metrics for success, and check in with yourself to see if you've actually done them. 7 is feedback and adjustments. So make sure that you give yourself feedback, positive or negative, and adjust. Rewards and consequences, what happens if you do achieve it, what happens if you don't, positive reinforcement and self-reflection, and then problem-solving strategies. So problem-solving strategies can be really, really important. Okay. What you need to stop doing. By the way, thank you for everybody who's on here live. It's nice to see everyone, especially my friends from Australia and New Zealand. I'm sorry I haven't been doing the trainings at this time, so I haven't seen anyone live for a long time from that side of the world. Okay, so things you need to stop doing: get rid of the all or nothing diet mentality. Stop focusing on strategies that don't put your health first. Okay, I know I have one person watching right now, one of my clients, and they also started another program, and it really didn't put his health first as a man, as a 60-year-old man. It just wasn't putting his health first. So make sure whatever you use is putting your health first, and it's made for somebody who is a man in his 40s, 50s, or 60s, because it's different for you than it is for somebody else who, like a woman or a younger man. It's not the same. Number 3, stop trying to do it alone. Number 4, stop believing that you just need to muster up your willpower to lose weight. Number 5 is to stop beating yourself up for failing in the past. You know what? Failure happens. it's not your fault. You probably were told by your doctor to do all the things that you did, like count calories, eat less, exercise more, all of those things. It's not really your fault that you failed. You just didn't, have the information that you needed to be successful. And number six is stop procrastinating. Four stages of procrastination. Stage one, delayed decision making. Stage two, rationalization and excuses. Stage three, distraction and avoidance. And stage four, last minute panic. So um, maybe put in the comments which which stage of procrastination you're at. I go through these stages with other things in my life, not nutrition, but other stuff. So if you're in stage one, put a one in the comments. You delayed decision making. So you're sort of humming and hawing, you need to do something, but you're not sure what. Um, Put a two in the comments if you have rationalization and excuses. So you're like, well, it's not that bad and I don't eat that terrible and I'm, getting some exercise. Then we have three, which is Norm, delayed decision making. I'll have to agree with you on that one. Yes. And then there's three, distraction and avoidance. So I don't know who's doing that one, but you can just sort of avoid the issue, right? You're like, well, I'm still alive, I got to die of something. That's more like rationalization and excuses. Oh well, might as well enjoy my life kind of thing. Stage four is last minute panic, and I'm probably going to see a bunch of you in stage four last minute panic, you know, right over Christmas or at the beginning of 2025, where you're just like, I can't believe I let this a whole other year go by and, didn't do anything about it. Right. So, that's really what my program is for. It's to give you this plan. It's an easy program. It's very simple to follow. It is work. It's always going to be work to take control of your health. It's a lot of work to set goals and to make a plan. Um, Please, if you're watching live or if you're watching in the replay, if you want the PDF that I've made, the goal setting PDF, just drop PDF in the comments. I will send it to you if you don't already have it already. It goes over SMART goals and all the questions to ask yourself, and it gives you a worksheet to fill out. And it's really, really important to write those goals down, you guys, okay? And if you're making this plan on your own, that's fine. If you need help making a plan, if you're ready to invest in next steps, the belly fat fix is a proven plan that will get you results without pain and suffering. And my clients will attest to this. It's not painful. I will, I will hand you this plan. I will week by week help you implement this plan so that you get results. And okay, Peter, I'll make sure that I send you the PDF as soon as I'm done, okay? Yeah, it's really simple, it's straightforward, it's sustainable, and my clients get success for those reasons, okay? If you need your hand held throughout the whole thing, I will do that. If you need to talk to me every single day, if you need to be accountable to someone every single day, then I will do that for you. And it's not complicated. There's no calorie counting. There's no calorie restriction. You are not going to feel hungry. There's no macro counting. There's no bland, tasteless food. There's no extreme workouts unless you want to. There's no eliminating entire food groups. You don't have to give up carbs completely. You don't have to go keto. You don't have to take a bunch of crazy supplements. You don't have to do anything crazy. So, it's a laid out step-by-step plan for you with step-by-step guidance from me for 16 weeks. And it's really personalized to your life, your needs, whatever they are. There's personalized meal planning. There's an online course. You get coaching from me. There's group coaching, so we get together once a week, and all of the guys and me, and we have a group coaching call. But there's also individual coaching as needed whenever you need it. And like I said, accountability, the community support. You've got expert help from me, and you will get results. And these are examples of some of my meals. Like it's just normal food. I'm not a chef. I'm a nutritionist. I probably consider myself a pretty decent cook, but I'm definitely not a chef. So it's not super fancy. I know almost all my clients just want to eat the foods that they like to eat and, vegetables and some potato and meat and fish, right? And these are some examples of meals that my clients have made. You know, it's not boring bland food. It's not a bunch of salads. You can see you can have butter and, you know, all kinds of delicious things. It's you should not, and I'll just restate this one more time, is you really, really should not have to have a bunch of stress and be miserable when you're trying to lose weight. You just shouldn't. You should be able to eat healthy food that's tasty, and still lose weight and be healthy. And that's really the goal of my program. And that's the goal of every, you know, when I work with anyone. I also work with people one-on-one, if that's anything that someone, or sorry, anything that anyone is interested in. And these are some of the men in my life. This is one of my clients, Danny, lost 100 pounds, and this is one of my clients, Mike, I met this summer. So, you know, oh, and this is my best friend, David, and this is his dad. He's 96, and my husband and my son and my other son. So, you know, I do have a vested interest in seeing all of you guys thrive. I want you, um, all to do well. Anthony, what about your korma? You can eat your chicken korma. That's fine. Anyway, so I'm going to, I'll get off and then we can do some questions in case anybody wants to. I'll just stop sharing my screen. Okay, so I'm